Hi, this is Vincent out in the garden again, and I'm going to be doing a full garden tour today. So here's my salad garden. My broccoli has not been doing too well, I guess because of the cabbage worms. I need to figure out what to do with that, about that. The Swiss chard has just croaked, and maybe because of the snails, it's not happy. I just don't want to use too much insecticides and pesticides. The lemon balm is doing good. The basil's doing good. I have Greek basil, the boxwood basil, or the spicy globe basil. That's the shorter basil right in here. That is real good to cook with. And then I have a bunch of dill, but the caterpillars are eating that like crazy. Some more broccoli there. The chickens are loving. And I see a little worm eating on my cabbage. I need to get that off there. Damn it, on my broccoli. And I have some okra just starting to make okra. And some peppers. And my chives in the middle. My lettuce was a failure. It's not, there may be just a few little sprouts coming up. And my bok choy was right here, and that's all gone now. Okay, and then we'll go over here to the front of the barn. These are my moringa trees on either side with purslane surrounding them. This is my salvia bed over here. The wildflower border, and you can see I've got a lot of zinnias, salvia, some marigold about to bloom there, sprinklers going in the side yard. That's a canna here in this pot. This is a red one, sort of an invasive plant, so I keep it in this pot. Zinnias, gara, that's wand flower, or whirling butterflies. There's a amaranth here. It's popped up. Some more marigolds, the yellow, that buttery yellow color. It's pretty. Have an interesting open kind of a flower. That one does. It almost looks like it's been affected by something. And the orange pom-pom. Those are African marigolds. They get about 3 feet tall. This is a red salvia. I'm not sure of the variety of salvia. More marigold. Beautiful butterfly. They love the zinnias. Sprinkler. It's our little makeshift bird bath. Move slower. This area is a lot slower in blooming for some reason. Well, because of the shade of these two trees here. But we still have a lot of flowers in here that are going to be blooming soon. We have the marigolds and the zinnias and the salvia. That's a plumeria right there in the middle. I should point, I always forget to point. That's a black magic Thai plant right there. And I have another one right down in here as well. I need to clear out around those to allow them to get sun. I want those to grow up and be big. This is a plumeria with the buttery yellow centers on those. This is an elm tree here. It's creating quite a bit of shade in this area now. This was full sun. And then we have the marigold again, all over here. And a bunch of cordyline that are coming up. And then that's Carolina jasmine on the fence. And then this is star jasmine on this trellis here. We are planning on doing another trellis and creating a little arbor seating area underneath it with the jasmine growing. And then this is my pot collection that I started with back here in the backyard. You can see I've got some succulents here, some Dickia coleus, Alabama sunset. That's a baby banana tree in that pot right there, right here. That's another cordyline, cordyline. This is a bamboo orchid. This is Portulacaria Afra variegata, I believe. And then this is the bamboo in the middle of the garden, middle of the backyard. You can see I've trimmed up the bottom a little. And then I have basil underneath. And then a big giant collard plant. It's been there for quite a while. A couple of years it seems like. And then some oregano. And then we're going to look at my vegetable garden, which I need to water. I've been watering it every day. This dries up really fast. I need to mulch it with compost if I can find any. I do have some of my zucchini plants that are growing zucchinis actually. Excited about that. They didn't all do good for whatever reason, and because it's been so dry. And the pepper plants aren't doing the best as well. I just think it's this supposed compost I used. It wasn't very good. My shadow. And then here are my tomato plants. They are growing. There's some more of the bush basil, the globe basil, or spicy globe basil, or boxwood basil. Those are black cherry tomatoes. I'm going to tie those to this trellis. Tomatillos there as well, and these are asparagus bean. And these are my melons. Planted those from seed. And I forget the variety. Let me look at the tag. There's the tag down here. bitter melon. Pretty leaves on those. And I see the little flower buds as well. It's exciting. Sunflowers coming up. They're not coming up as fast as I'd like. That's my jungle peanuts, basil seedlings. This is the Genovese, I think. Might be pronouncing that wrong, probably. And those are more black cherry tomatoes from baby seedlings that I planted. And then I have some more melons here that are doing good and they're blooming. Those are going to be on this end trellis here with the tomatoes. See how they do, planted together like that. This will be a big patio off of our den here, in the back of the house. And then excuse the mess back here. This is where I pot up my plants. I have some coleus I'm growing from seed. Part of my plant collection here. I have several kinds of coleus I'm growing. These are non-patented varieties. I will be propagating those. My tiger grass, I guess, is dead. That was right here in the middle. I'm really shocked it died, but I guess it's a little bit tropical. My avocado tree is coming out. I've been so worried about it, but it has new growth. New leaves coming out, yay. Just gotta be patient with these things. These tropical plants. And then the coleus we propagated in a video earlier is growing. This is the Alabama sunset, our kale. That's had a lot of snail damage. Zinnias blooming like crazy. My plumeria. This was planted in the garage over the winter. It was not planted. It was actually bare root in the garage over the winter. It's coming back nicely. We had a few branches that had frost damage I had to cut off. So, and then my elephant ears have grown. Ginger in a pot over here is doing well. That's a butterfly ginger, I believe. It's got a flower bud coming out. And there may be a different kind of ginger here in the bottom. And then the cordyline that had froze, that's coming back. And then this is a phormium. Forget the variety, I'll have to look that up. It's pretty. Jasmine is still blooming. And then our side yard over here, just still kind of a mess. I have a variety of vegetables planted in these 30-gallon buckets. Tomatoes, tomatillos, and some variety of peppers. The tomatoes are starting to grow here. I have 3 moringa trees in this pot, which hadn't started growing yet, but I just planted them recently in purslane, which is bigger than the moringa trees. It's a holly fern. Various pots Okay, and this is the yard in between me and my neighbors. Boxwood hedge. I'll be changing these plants out for some summer flowers. This is my Carolina Sapphire Cypress. It's doing really good. I planted this, it's been over a year ago, about a year and a half, I'd say. This is a bald cypress. This one is growing like crazy as well. There's some daylilies underneath. They need to be watered. But they've done pretty good this year with little water. Our lawn is looking real good right now. Nice and green, lush. And we're also doing all this in rocks. The river rock top dressing will extend on down the front here with my cordyline, and I'll be replacing these dianthus. I'm probably going to do naughty marigolds, naughty French marigolds, and we'll look at all these plants over here in the rock garden. This is an agave, one of my mini agaves, a variegated one. I will put the name on the screen. Then I have some Caribbean agave, variegated, aloe, that's a soap aloe, that's agave, blue glow maybe. I'll have to look that one up too. And then one of my Caribbean agaves that looks like it needs a little water. Agave, more agave, another yellow aloe. And I have some groupings of succulents in here that I'm hoping will grow, and this is actually in a pot that I've just buried in here. But I might go back and plant those in the ground. This is a Palo Verde. Which we had a big one here, but it was getting too big, so we cut that one down. You can see the stump. And we left the little one that was growing next to it. Some ghosties and portulaca. Then there's an echeveria over here underneath this kalanchoe. Echeveria actually has a little flower coming out. And this is kalanchoe copper spoons. Another agave I need to find out the variety of. And then there's some bulbine with the yellow flowers in front of another Caribbean agave. And here's another one that needs to be watered. Surprisingly, they like a little water occasionally. And then Portulacaria Afra Variegata. And then a little sedum Sarah Higgins, or Vera Higgins. trying to remember all the names. Another Caribbean agave. This is a sunshine ligustrum. This is a Hesperala with the pink flowers. And then we have Coreopsis dwarf red. A Dusty Miller here. This is another clumping bamboo. And then the Canis with one pink canna there. So my alyssum is just about done. I guess I'll trim that back. And then some naughty marigolds here in the front. They'll be blooming soon, I hope. That's a Dusty Miller that needs to be pulled out. For some reason the birds were attacking us yesterday. I'm not sure why. Maybe just needs water. And then another Carolina Sapphire Cypress. Yes, this is a full garden tour. This is the good, the bad, the ugly. Interesting. There's some dead branches in the tree. Have an awkwardly tall zinnia right here that could be trimmed. I'm going to talk about my Coreopsis here. Coreopsis gets mildew, apparently. I did not know that. This is the first time I grew this. And it was so pretty, but disappointingly, it's gotten mildew. So, anyway. That was kind of a fail. But they did pretty good until they got the mildew. Anyway, I think they're done blooming now, so I think I'm going to trim those back and just throw the seed back down in there. Anyway, I'm going to be putting more of the naughty marigolds because they seem to do good in here where I have them. That's one right there. See, they look healthy. I wasn't planning on watering this area. It's supposed to be low maintenance. But these zinnias look like they need a little water. And then over here I've planted seeds of marigold, the African marigold again, and some tall Coreopsis, plains Coreopsis actually, that they'll be in between these big African iris that I have along this fence row planting. So there'll be marigolds in here as well, and white zinnias and the Coreopsis, the plains Coreopsis. I have pulled out all the love in a mist that was growing here. The nigella, as you remember, was growing all in here real thick. So it looks a little barren at the moment. But those other flowers we're going to fill in. I'm considering those wildflowers. And this is my wildlife garden. It's just not looking the best, but I'm showing everything. Like I said, this is a full garden tour. The good, the bad, the ugly. These crepe myrtles have gotten mildew as well. And watering it probably doesn't help. I don't know. I've heard that they get mildew because they're not getting enough water. So I don't know what the real story is. I'll have to research that. And then there is a ton of Vitex seedlings coming up here, which I'll be pulling up. I don't need a forest of Vitex here. Okay, now I'm standing in the street. This is our pyracantha hedge we have back here. Kind of a privacy thing. And then some more cacti with Esperanza coming out and a Pride of Barbados that has naturalized around here in this area. And they are starting to bloom. Another Palo Verde tree. That's Pride of Barbados foliage, which will be blooming shortly. Oh, my shadow. More naughty marigolds. So they're real healthy out here in the full sun. Those are more coreopsis with the powdery mildew. That's a muley grass. I will put the variety on the screen. It's another zinnia with some powdery mildew. You can see that real clearly. It's a white zinnia, as you can tell. More naughty marigolds. Doing quite nicely. I'm gonna let those go to seed here. I've got some more seed of those I'm putting out. I believe this is a milkweed. I'm leaving that for the butterflies. Another Pride of Barbados. Or actually it's called Bird of Paradise in some areas. We call it Pride of Barbados. This is all supposed to be a naturalistic wildlife garden. It's supposed to be low maintenance, which it is. I do need to get the little seedlings out of this area. This is my Esperanza, the orange. Can't wait for it to start blooming. That's that purple Pennisetum. It may be vertigo, but I'm not real sure about that. And that grass was rescued from a customer's house where I was doing landscaping. My zinnias. Another crepe myrtle. I believe this is a Muskogee. I'm gonna look that up. I'm not sure. And then my flame acanthus bushes that have grown. Another white zinnia. I've actually gone through and put some more seed of that out. Baby birds, I hear. Purple fountain grass there is doing nicely. These are Oakland hollies. No, I'm sorry. These are Eagleston hollies. There's two of them right here on the corner. I'll step out into the street. Trying to get out of the shadow. I'll get my shadow out of the picture. And this is more Hesperaloe here at the corner. This flower actually goes over the street. had to stake it up, and that stake is not really holding very well. But my Pride of Barbados is going crazy here and going to be blooming like crazy. As you can see, the buds coming out. And it's kind of fighting with the Hesperaloe in this bed. Another clumping bamboo. This is the original cane here in the middle, which I'm going to be removing out of there because it's dead. But the rest of it's doing very good. It's got new shoots at the bottom coming out. It's exciting. It will be much bigger this year. It's supposed to double in size every year. You can see those little shoots coming out. And this will be able to clean up the bottoms of, limb it up, and make it look better. And then my Vitex tree here, I planted a couple years ago. It's growing. It was a tiny little thing, maybe a 3-gallon pot when I planted it. And then this is the oak tree right in the front of my house with irises and daylilies around it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my tour. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and have a nice day.
All right.